Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to pull up, but that won't really work for this fucking. Yeah, that's more of like a clip. You know, I might as well do the clip. I'll do this first, just because it'll take less time. It'll take less time. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna put that right there. Show. I saw a couple things. This was interestingly the first thing that I was gonna do. I was like, as I saw this, because I was thinking about making a video about it, but I didn't really have too much on it because like this happened a while ago. Someone was talking about this a while ago, and it was like some Japanese VTuber or whatever that one of her super fans was like, yeah, I know when she's on her period and all this extra shit because like he spent so much time stalking her that when she left the house he knew. Oh, dude, yeah. When she left the house, he knew about it. When she came back, he knew about it. All that good stuff. It was actually insane. And at one point, apparently, and now I don't know if this was confirmed or not, but apparently was like digging through her trash, and then based on the trash and the day he got it is when he figured out that she was on her period and whatnot. And then when she was on her period, he would like donate more or whatever. Like this was, and it was weird that like it was said, but since it was like Japanese or whatever, bro, no one really said anything about it. And everyone was like, that's weird. And then we have this. Just found out there's a website that tracks ovulation and menstrual cycles for female VTubers. Let me be clear. Why? Fucking why? Who does this? Who has this about it? Like, dude, when people say jobless behavior, you know what I'm saying? Jobless behavior. This is what I'm thinking of. Like, I'm not thinking, oh, you're online all day or whatever, making dog shit Twitter posts or whatever. This is the stuff I'm thinking about when I hear that. Because I couldn't fathom, I couldn't picture like a person doing this. Let's leave it at that. I don't know how to say it without probably getting banned. You know what I mean? Because it's like you took the time out of your day to go do this, and I just know that there's something mentally wrong with you. So I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was hilarious, and this is probably one of the times of all times where I'm like, yeah, this person probably just shouldn't be online or alive. You know what I mean? Because like. Picture like no, I don't ovulate, no, nor will I ever. But I couldn't picture like waking up one day, seeing this, and then also seeing my name on it. Like that's like what is more than an invasion of privacy? You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I was about to say, yeah, it's more than wrong, bro. It's like this. You need to be. You can't say it, but like everyone knows. You know what I mean? Because there's just something wrong. But yeah, I woke up today and saw that. It came across my desk, and I thought that was hilarious. But also, I wanted to see some stuff that was coming out not too long ago about this whole war with Iraq thing going on, and then after that. I want to see exactly how Iran ended up in the way it was, because a lot of people will be talking about how it's not this, it's not that, blah, 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 all that good stuff, which is understandable. But the thing is, I don't know much about it. So I was like, let me go out of my way, you know what I'm saying, to figure this out, see what's actually going on. My fucking camera will sit where it needs to sit. Can I just sit it there? Yeah, whatever. It just looks like I'm looking up. Fuck it, whatever. I need to get like an actual webcam or something like that. I'll do that at some point.
What should he demand of the Iranians to not get attacked?
Well, I think he's already drawn the red line back when the protests against the regime were still going on, and the regime didn't stop killing its own people until there was a massacre that really drove everybody off the street. So I think even though it's been quiet for several weeks, there's still an important point to be made here by attacking Revolutionary Guard or besieging militia targets. But I think the president also needs to think long term. One strike isn't going to bring the regime down. If he is committed to regime change, as he has now said, you need to think in a more programmatic, strategic way.
By programmatic strategic, you seem to mean what will replace the regime. That's all.
I feel like we're all thinking that, and from what I've seen, from what I've seen and what people have said, is that the old Shah of Iran will come back because apparently he's in like an exile or some shit like that. So, I mean, if that is what happens, that is what happens. But now, how long will that take? Because like I highly doubt you can just bomb a country and then a regime change and then everything will be fine. You know what I mean? Because like after that, like look, I'm not saying occupation, and I definitely don't want us being there. But like, what do after that? That's what I want to know.
From those who have urged not having any action in Iran, which seems, at least for the time you and I have known each other, totally different than your previous thoughts.
Well, I think programmatic in the sense, since one strike won't bring the regime down, you have to think of what multiple strikes might do to degrade the regime's ability to cause problems in the nuclear field and the terrorism field, but also to reduce its power to repress its own people. It is the case the regime is not well organized. On the other hand, it's very hard to think of anything worse that could replace the present regime.
Okay, fair.
Seems to be the idea is the devil you know may indeed be actually worse than the devil you don't know, which would be
like I wouldn't be surprised if what ends up happening, say we take him down, blah 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 blah, we get one more El Presidente, right? And then all of a sudden, just another group just shows up and is like, yeah, we're taking this now. You know what I mean? I would not be surprised.
Yeah, flip.
But like what now, though?
And the way this regime is acting, I think, is so important because the videos continue to come out of the body bags. The latest report, 35,000 people executed by the regime. And these are not fighters. These are peaceful protesters.
Civvies, bro. They're civvies.
A lot of whom are being shot in the back of the head when they're in the hospital. Their whole groups are being tortured and killed. And yet there's sort of this odd silence from the typical groups that are normally so up in arms over this kind of violence or even alleged.
Oh, brother, it's because they don't care. That's why they don't care. Like, what do you expect? I don't know why people keep saying that. And they don't care. If they did, they would have said something day one. They would have been saying something, but they don't. Just like well, they don't really care about Christians, but the Christians that are dying in Nigeria or getting slaughtered in Nigeria, the stuff that's happening in Syria right now, like that would definitely be something that's like right up their alley. But well, clearly they don't care.
Violence.
Also, people like that seem to have zero morals. They just kind of go with whatever they're told to. It's just weird to me, but whatever.
And I think about, for example, the UN. Has not really said all that much about what's going on in Tehran. This is the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights.
What did he say?
Aggressive rhetoric and threats are deeply counterproductive. Accountability for human rights violations cannot be achieved by military force coming from inside or outside Iran. It is imperative to reduce tensions across the region.
Yeah, buddy. Okay.
Ambassador at the UN, at the BBC, among liberals in the United States, among the Europeans, is there such anger about Israel, for example, and such focus on that? But when Iran is doing what the Israelis were accused of, and actually even worse than what the Israelis have been accused of in the past, there seems to be a desire for conversation and pause and dialogue.
Well, I think it's a combination of hypocrisy and anti-Semitism, frankly. I think these people are just blind to what this regime in Tehran has done for over 45 years now. I mean, this is not one act of brutality. This is part of the systematic effort over decades to keep the regime in power. And that's why the regime is now at its weakest point since the revolution of 1979 brought it to power, and why some clear use of U.S. force here against the regime, I think, would boost the morale of the opposition.
I don't know what it is. Hold on. Like, I don't know what it is, but like his mustache reminds me of Wilford Brimley's mustache, even though his goes down here. Like, I know that has nothing to do with it, but I just can't stop looking at it, bro.
The morale of the opposition would remind them we have not forgotten about them, but also say to regime figures...
I heard this just showed up, by the way. I heard it was like way over here or something, and now it's like right here. So it's like, well, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen.
And you can calculate, you want to stick with this regime, or do you want to break and come over to the opposition?
Last 30 seconds is yours, but you're leaving open the possibility that there's parts of the Iranian government that would defect, that this isn't the death cult that we have all thought the Iranian regime was.
Well, it's not monolithic, that's for sure, and we can't know. But the opposition does believe that they can fragment the regime. We should be helping them more to do that, frankly, not just military strikes, but giving the opposition inside Iran more resources so they can help split the regime at the top.
Yeah, that's a great point. We know what's happening in terms of the overt moving of forces. We don't know what's happening covertly. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much. Always good to have you, sir.
Thank you for watching.
Well, I wonder. I still wonder what's going to happen, because it isn't like, oh, this will be something that takes like a couple days. People, I kept seeing people be like, oh yeah, it's going to be a 5-minute war, and I'm like, brother, I hope so.
The first government-issued death toll from its bloody crackdown on protests around the country, and is far lower than the count by human rights groups. Trey Yingst joins us now from Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey.
Oh, fucking, what was it? I heard the death count got upped to like 30,000, something like that. And then there's like 300,000 injured. It's like, surprise, surprise. It's kind of what happens when you shoot live rounds into a gigantic group of people. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, hey, Brian, good morning. We are following developments out of Iran as the internet blackout there reaches 2 weeks of total darkness. Overnight, Iranian state media released the first official death toll numbers from the protests in Iran.
That's terrible, yeah.
1,117 people were killed, more than 2,400 of whom were civilians. The true number is believed to be much higher, with some estimates as high as 16,000 people.
Yep.
President Trump spoke about Iran at Davos today, focusing on his success with destroying the country's nuclear program.
We obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity with Operation.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, if you don't know what this is, apparently the Board of Peace is something that he created, Trump himself created, and was like, yeah, hey, since NATO's garbage and they're not actually doing anything, we're doing this. And it's like, okay, fuck it, whatever.
We call it Operation Midnight Hammer. We're 2 months away from having
I'm telling you, Midnight Hammer is just a really good name for gay porn.
nuclear weapon kit.
You gotta change the name.
And Iran does want to talk, and we'll talk.
With the possibility of further military action against Iran still on the table, we're also tracking how Iran is going after opposition in and near their country. New video provided to Fox News shows the moments an Iranian drone slammed into a Kurdish base early on Wednesday in Iraq. The attack was the latest in a series of Iranian regime actions meant to target Kurdish opposition groups in and near Iran. Last week, a Kurdish general spoke with Fox News about how his forces are resisting the Iranian regime.
In some places, they confront the Iranian security forces who attack the civilians, and in other locations, they attack the IRGC bases. The last case was an IRGC base that was attacked and obliterated last night.
Hold on. Hold on. It's stuck in my head. Hold on. Let me. Is this? No. Who is this? Be real. Be good. How would you know what a good name for that? Midnight Hammer could be. No, Carpenters don't work at night. I can tell you that 100% right now. That's not happening. Let's take a. Okay, so you see this guy's face, right? It's. Oh. All right, I guess it doesn't make sense. Where is Homeboy's face? Because like, there's no way that no one else saw that, right? Like,
So much going on. Iran has offered the first
where's this guy's face again? Hold on, go back.
IRGC bases.
Boom. All right, stay there. Okay, so you see his face. We're seeing that, right? Like anyone, we're seeing that, right? Like I'm not the only one. There's no, yeah, the nose is a little different because it's cocked to one side, but like as soon as I saw him, I was like, is this what I think? It's not, but like, oh my God.
The last case was
that is kind of insane.
It was attacked and obliterated last night.
Sources tell Fox News that one Peshmerga fighter was killed in this Iranian attack, the latest fatality from the Iranian regime.
That's what I'm saying. It's cloned.
Thanks, Trey. You don't want to mess with the Kurds, but they are. Meanwhile, President Trump hosting world leaders in Davos to sign a historic Board of Peace agreement as his team reveals the ambitious strategy behind their master plan.
Peace is a different deal than a business deal because
I was about to say, like, what is the deal? That's what I want to know. And like, how well will it actually work?
you're changing a mindset. And in Israel, there was 2 years of very intense war. For the people in Gaza, there was more than just 2 years of war. They had 20 years of hopelessness, being ruled by a terrorist organization. So what the Board of Peace will have the ability to do if we're successful with Gaza is really show how do you do peace implementation.
Yep, joining us now, former Deputy National Security Advisor KT McFarland. KT, Board of Peace. The
okay.
To make.
It's so different from the United Nations. I mean, it's what the United Nations was supposed to be originally, to help make peace, to help rebuild countries after war. The Board of Peace is a board of action now. So they're doing things, and they're doing things very quickly, and they're doing things very effectively, and they're doing things nobody thought they could do. Peace in the Middle East, peace in Gaza, rebuilding Gaza. But the second thing is that it really is kind of a slap at the old world, right? The French, the British, the Germans, all the people who are...
Did she just say French?
Against this or against that.
I mean, close enough.
Trump.
Close enough.
They're kind of left out now. The world has moved on from them. And what does the Board of Peace do going forward? After it solved Gaza, there are a lot of other possibilities it could do. Now, President Trump says it's going to work with the United Nations. So I think what either happens is the United Nations gets its act together, or if not, the Board of Peace takes a lot of predominance in the world of peace.
Leading up to this, there's a bit of a fracture, certainly an eruption, as the president says, I need Greenland. Denmark says you can't have it. Europeans rally to his side. They put small groups of troops into Denmark. Into Greenland.
She did. She tried.
Back and forth. The president has a slight
ranch.
Adds to him arriving.
And now I'm thinking about French and ranch dressing combined together, and now I want to vomit. Thank you. God, fuck this lady.
He gets there. They seem to have the framework for a deal. The New York Times reports the deal would give the U.S. sovereignty over small pockets of Greenland and for military bases. He expanded on that moments ago with Maria Bartiromo.
We will have everything we want. We're getting everything we want at no cost.
So the Golden Dome will be on Greenland?
A piece of it, yes, and it's a very important part because it's everything comes over Greenland. If the bad guys start shooting.
Like, look, I know it doesn't matter, but brother, fucking something. Just go bald, grow out a beard. Get rid of this, bro. Like, get rid of this, bro. Come on now. Like I get that some people in the audience will like it, but what the fuck is this, bro? Come on now.
For Greenland. So we knock it down. It's pretty infallible. It's amazing. You know, Ronald Reagan had the idea a long time ago, but we didn't have any technology at that point. The concept was great, but there was no technology. Now we have unbelievable technology. I mean, virtually 100%.
So what are we talking about? An acquisition of Greenland? Are you going to pay for it? I mean,
we're talking about it. It's really being negotiated now. The details.
Look! I had a long day at work. I get to be mean whenever. All right, like, I'm actually out here working. Okay, my tax dollars are going to fund this. I get to say what I want.
Of it, but essentially, it's total access. It's
got a fucking mop up there, bro.
There's no time limit.
And he's leaving Marco Rubio to work out the details on with J.D. Vance.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was about to say, Marco Rubio's about to be the new Shah of Iran and fucking El Presidente of fucking Venezuela, and now he's got all this shit to do? Jesus Christ.
Right now, what do you think?
I think this is going to change the world. I wrote President Reagan's Star Wars speech in 1983. We did not have the technology.
Good Lord.
A missile shield to protect the United States from nuclear weapons. We do potentially have it now. Greenland is an essential part of it. Land-based, multi-layered, land-based, space-based. But if we could have a defensive system that could protect the United States and Canada and Europe from nuclear...
Hold on. Do we really need to protect Canada? Because Canada, for some reason, there's already what is it? What are they called? Territories? Providences. That's what it is. Providences. There's already providences in Canada that are like, yeah, we're going to secede. And one of them's already been doing it, bro. So like, do we really? Also, they're kind of like bending over for China as of recent. So that's not even just like a me saying that. This is just stuff that they've been saying and that they want to do and have been doing. So I was like, I mean, do we really need to? Okay, whatever, bro. Whatever. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. I was like, bro, if they're attached to us and they're just like, yeah, China, whatever, you do whatever. Like, and the UK's been doing that too. So like, we had values that we did share, and then for some reason I don't know what's going on, but they're not there. Also, these two flags are shockingly close. Like, if I wasn't really looking, I would assume they had the Qatar flag on there twice.
Of missiles coming from Russia or China or even North Korea carrying nuclear weapons. That changes the world.
Just real quick, the Prime Minister of the UK, the German leader, Chancellor, they're all going to China. We know Canada was there. Are you concerned about our allies thinking China's a better idea?
Yeah, I'm very concerned because they've all deindustrialized. They've got terrible economic policies, their migration policies, and what are they doing? Instead of making up with the United States and figuring out how we have deals with the United States, they're going to China. China's not going to do them any favors. China's just going to exploit them.
Absolutely. Kate,
100%. And it's also very interesting because a lot of the people that I've heard that are in those areas particularly, well, they're not too happy with what their government is doing, which, I mean, surprise, surprise, really no one seems to be excited about anything their government's doing necessarily. So it's kind of like, well, what now? It was like, well, what do you do now? Because for some reason, our allies across the pond want to go more west, or not east. They want to go more east. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's not looking too. It's not looking too great. And if I had to put, I don't want it to happen, but if like a world war was going to happen, I wouldn't be surprised that the allies that we had in World War II all of a sudden are not the allies we have in World War III.
Well, thanks so much. Exciting time.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I mean, exciting. I don't know if I'd call it exciting, but.
Meanwhile, retired Navy captain, former Pentagon official Brent Sadler.
Yeah, this was crazy.
Has his own opinion.
Yeah, so so the Abraham Lincoln, that ship, is now arrives in the Middle East. And this is how wars start, by the way, like slowly and methodically. All right, you move everything into place, and then something happens. You move it into place, then something happens. But we'll figure it out. They'll figure it out, and hopefully, I don't have to die.
The president really wants to talk to Iran, and if so, what would he say to them?
Well, I mean, if the mullahs in Tehran or the IRGC backing them actually have a good offer, perhaps maybe listen to them, but the odds of that are really small. But it's always remarkable how willing an adversary starts to open up to talk when an aircraft carrier strike group gets nearby.
So Axios says the president has yet to make a decision whether he will strike, but was close to making a decision last week. What do you think he'll do?
Dude, interestingly enough, I was hearing about what people were like, oh yeah, I don't want to get drafted into a war. And it's like, well, I'm going to tell you something right now. A lot of the people that are saying that wouldn't be drafted because of what's wrong with them already. You just wouldn't be drafted. So, and depending on how long this takes, people like the later half of the generation I'm in might not be draftable. That's the issue. And then even then, the people that they get that are under us, like they already don't like us. They really don't like the U.S. already as it is. So like there's going to be so many more people fucking defecting to wherever it is so they don't get drafted. But even if the draft does happen, hopefully it just doesn't. Let's leave it at that. Hopefully it just doesn't. I really don't want anything like that to happen. But also, the way the wars were fought back in the day are not the way the wars will be fought nowadays. So a lot of it will be like cyber shit. And everyone has drones now, but now it's like who can produce and have the best drones that do the most damage the quickest, I would say. I feel like that's going to be a lot more of it.
Yeah, I think it's
I don't want to find out, but also at the same time, it would be kind of interesting.
informative. I mean, the thought calculus was the threat, and there were options being given to the president under the threat that if the Iranian regime started executing publicly these protesters and the leaders of the opposition movement, the regime relented. The president, backed down and kind of gave a little bit of a pause. But in the interim, we've seen perhaps up to 30,000 Iranian protesters executed, 20 in prisons facing imminent execution as this large armada is starting to form. And all of a sudden,
Oh, it's crazy because if I can find the report, I would. But apparently they had they were going to execute. It was like 8,000. Is it like 800, 8,000, something like that? Protesters or whatever. And then Trump was like, "Yeah, how about we don't do that?" And then they still hung like 8 of them. Which, I mean, granted, that's small. That's a small number, but literally any number of killing protesters is unacceptable.
and the regime now wants to start to talk. So it really, I think the ball's in Tehran's court to see what comes next. Either a good offer that can be taken or the hammer.
Well, the question is,
damn,
if the people
not the hammer.
Have absolutely no say in their government still, and you're killing them by the thousands, and the Ayatollah gave the command at all costs, we got to keep power. He's now hiding in
Also, I love that they're protesting and they're still dancing in the streets. Like, despite everything that's happening, absolute chads and chadettes, the lot of them, bro.
bunker. What target should we hit if we decided we wanted to hit it? Because you don't want the Iranians rallying around the flag.
No, absolutely. That's correct. And I think history is an important prelude to what we should be taking as lessons going forward. Certainly going after the power base on the street that's supporting the regime. So this is like the boss. This is these out of uniform, plainclothes kind of ruffians that rough up and kill the protesters, as well as the IRGC. If there are attacks, it should be targeted against the power base of the regime on the street.
So, yes, CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper visited Israel on Saturday to coordinate military plans and potential joint defensive efforts to counter the Iranian attack against Israel. That's an important foundational thing to do before you would attack, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. These types of consultations, making sure that plans are at least understood. Timing, there's only one person that knows that, and he's been consistently able to surprise his adversaries, and that's President Trump.
Brent Sadler, thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll need your expertise in the next coming weeks, I sense. I'm Steve Doocy.
No, yeah,
Brian Kill me.
And I'm Ainsley
But I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I wanted to go over that just a little bit because then there's this video, because this is actually how they got power. That's what I want to know, because, again, I know nothing about it. Just like how Maduro got where he was, but it was interesting that he got where he was, and then we decided to just yoink. I thought it was crazy. God decided to let Trump be his yoinkiest splinker all of a sudden. We're just gonna take him. Now, as we all know, Maduro has been encased in carbonite and will now be displayed in the Oval Office. That's just how it is. It's one El Presidente per month, apparently. They did a whole thing for this. Turn that down on my end real quick. God damn, it's loud as hell.
The year was 1979, the date February 1st. It was quite a foggy morning in Tehran, but cutting through that fog, a plane landed at the airport. A chartered Air France flight. Slowly, the plane came to a standstill, and from it emerged a bearded figure. A firm look on his face, a turban over his head, and a black robe trailing behind. The figure was unmistakable. It was Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. He had returned to Iran after 14 years in exile. He spent that time in Iraq and France, but that Thursday morning, he was back. It's probably the most important day in Iran's modern history. Millions of people turned up to welcome him. They cheered his every move and word. Khomeini.
Okay, so if this is what's happening, if that's what's happening, what the fuck happened? How did they go from there to this?
To declare an Islamic republic in Iran. It ended almost 2,500 years of the Persian Empire. Not to mention, changed West Asia forever. But as historians say, revolution is the easy part. Building a country is much harder. So how did the Ayatollah set about creating modern-day Iran? how was the country's power structure made? Time for a flashback.
I mean, you said it yourself. Islam. You brought it with him, and well, apparently that didn't seem to work. Interestingly enough, if people, the radical Islams, when they're around people who are Kurdish, they seem to have a problem. When Muslims and Christians are together, they seem to have a problem. When Muslims and Hindus are together, or in close proximity to each other, they have a problem. There's something there. There's something there. I don't know what it is. I'm not really all that smart, but there's something there. I don't know what it is, but Flashback.
You cannot understand modern Iran without understanding Khomeini. The country is built in his image. By the 1950s and 60s, he was already popular. His claim to fame? Opposing the Shah of Iran. The Shah was a Western ally. He tried to create a secular and liberal Iran. But Khomeini despised this. His hardline politics eventually got him exiled. In 1964, he moved to Iraq. It was here that Khomeini created the foundations of an Islamic state. But every state needs a glue. In democracies, it's the people. In monarchies, it's the royal family. What would that glue be in Iran? Khomeini settled on the Shia Muslim clergy. This concept was called Vilayat-e-Faqih, or guardianship of the Islamic jurist. He explained it in a series of lectures which became a book. Khomeini said God created Islam to be followed as per the divine law, what is called the Sharia. And who knows the Sharia best? The Muslim clerics. So he said it's natural.
Yeah, this couldn't go wrong at all. This definitely couldn't go wrong. When you have a religion that is, well, a couple of things, I'd say they're a bit of a problem. If you've looked up what the heaven is like, it's a bit of a problem. If you've looked up what what women are allowed, or actually what women aren't allowed to do, be a little bit of a problem. So one would think if you have a theocracy and the religion that you're following, that your theocracy is based off of, is a problem, well, you'd have a really big problem. But I don't know. That's Islamophobic. Who knows?
For the clerics to rule Iran, this concept was added to Iran's constitution, but not without drama. By 1978, it was clear that the Shah's regime would fall. It was only a question of when. So Khomeini's allies began making a draft constitution. It was said to be a progressive one. Separation of powers, United Nations Charter, no Vilayat-e-Faqih, and no supreme leader. Khomeini brought this draft with him to Iran. In public, he said it was a nice document. And this is where we see shades of Khomeini, the politician. You see, the Iran of 1979 had many powerful groups. You had the Kurds, you had the working class, you also had the Marxists. So Khomeini did not want to rock the boat at first. But slowly, he made his intentions clear.
That's how they always get you. That's how they always get you. Hey. I don't want to do anything too crazy. I don't want to rock the boat, as they say. And then 12 years later, I'm going to flip this bitch completely over. Surprise, surprise. Who would have thought?
First, he organized a nationwide referendum. And the question was simple. Should Iran be an Islamic republic or not? 98.2% voters said yes. So Khomeini announced his next step. He cancelled support for a proposed constituent assembly. This assembly was supposed to ratify the draft, but Khomeini said no need. Instead, he formed another body, the Assembly of Experts. Around 72 delegates were elected to this body. 55 of them were clerics. You can guess what happened next. This assembly overhauled Iran's draft constitution. It enshrined Vilayat-e-Faqih, focused heavily on the Sharia, and made Khomeini supreme leader for life. This constitution was put to the public.
Whoa! Oh my God! Whoa! Oh no! Oh my God! No way! No way! Who would have thought? So someone that didn't want to rock the boat and said, "Yeah, I'm not going to take absolute power." I took absolute power. Oh my God! Oh my God! No way! No way that happened! Oh my God!
1979, it was implemented the next year, and thus the Islamic Republic was formed, after which Khomeini shifted to his next goal, reshaping Iran's society and polity. It would take up the final 10 years of his life. The country was very liberal back then. The clothes, the music, the college syllabus, all of it was quite progressive. So
and by progressive, it's less progressive and more Western. You think about it, it's literally more Western. So which I thought was crazy. This is why people are saying Persia was never Islamic. Make Persia great again. Persia for the Persians. But, you know, what are you going to do?
Khomeini went about dismantling it. He banned most democratic political parties. He shut down several magazines and newspapers. And in 1981, he began a cultural revolution. Universities were shut for 2 years. In this time, the syllabus was totally changed. Progressive ideas out, political Islam in. Almost 20,000 teachers were fired. Apparently, they were too westernized.
Jesus.
Now, all of this did trigger some backlash. Iran's liberals and Marxists were not happy with Khomeini. So he needed someone to crack down on them. The army.
This is probably like hearing that is like it might not have registered to you, but think about it. Think about it where you're in a world where a Marxist is correct. Insane. Insane.
Was not an option. In 1953, the Iranian army had sided with Western powers. Together, they had toppled Iran's elected leader. During the revolution, the army had promised to remain neutral, but Khomeini was wary. He did not trust them enough. So the supreme leader turned to his own militia, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards. It was different and independent from Iran's army, and it reported to just one man, Supreme Leader Khomeini. By 1982, the Guards got their own overseas wing, and in 1985, a Navy and Air Force. All of this with Khomeini's blessings. The Guards were also deployed inside Iran, sort of like a moral police. They would go around enforcing the Sharia like
moral police. What does that sound like? That I swear to God, there's something in history that reminds me vaguely of this. I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my brown finger on it. I wonder what it could be.
Women to cover their faces or forcing men to grow beards. And all of this made one thing quite clear. Iran's revolution was not going to be democratic or progressive. It was going to be hardline Islamist, which often led to political chaos. Iran's first elections were held in January 1980. Abul Hassan Bani Sadr became president. He was an advisor to Khomeini.
God, look at the fucking hair on this guy. What a fucking head.
He wasn't a hardliner, not like the supreme leader. Just one problem, though. Bani Sadr did not control the parliament. Most lawmakers belonged to the Islamic Republic Party, a radical group formed by Khomeini loyalists. So pretty soon they clashed. Bani Sadr proposed 3 names for his prime minister. All 3 were rejected by parliament. Khomeini did try to settle these differences, but soon it boiled over. Bani Sadr became a rallying hero for dissidents, and Khomeini did not like this. Hold
on, before they go any further, let me ask you something. How much you want to bet? How much money you want to put that he either got exiled or killed? How much money? I put 5 G's on that right now.
Supported the impeachment of Bani Sadr. So the president ended up fleeing to France.
There you go.
What followed next was a purge. Opposition party members were arrested in the thousands. Many of them were executed. Some exiled Iranians say the regime killed 20,000 political prisoners.
Hey! Speaking of this, you want to know what this? Let me see if let me take a look. Let me take a look. Where is this? Is this the one I think? Actually, hold on. Let me. Because they probably wouldn't believe me if I went through that one. Let's see here. Okay, well that's what it was, but I went through that. Like, do you have like the overarching? There's any of the overarching. Maybe not. Maybe they don't have that. So that sounds like this. Where is it? There it is. That sounds like this, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like this? Let's read it. Let's read it a little bit. The Night of the Long Knives. Purge, or Operation Hummingbird, was a purge that took place in Nazi Germany from 30th of June to the 2nd of July. Chancellor Adolf Hitler urged by the German, I cannot read that, and Heinrich Himmler ordered the series of extrajudicial executions intended to consolidate his power and alleviate Germany's military's concerns about the role of Ernest Röhm. Huh. Yeah, surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. I was about to say, why does that sound so familiar?
Of course, sometimes they hit back. Like in August 1981, Iranian dissidents bombed the Islamic Republic Party's headquarters. They killed the new president and his prime minister. So the first few years of the revolution were quite violent. Iran was still struggling with its identity, but stability came in late 1981. After the bombing, another presidential election was held, the third one in 21 months. This time, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was elected. You may know him as the supreme leader today, but in the 1980s, he was the president. Khamenei served 2 terms until 1989. Iran's politics during this time was very complicated, mostly because of the power structure. On the one hand, it was a theocracy. Sovereignty did not lie with the people, it lay with God. On the other hand, it was a revolutionary republic. So you couldn't ignore the people. This hybrid structure led to a lot of complications, not to mention bickering. First, you have the president. He decides economic and administrative policy, but he does not control the military. Then you have the parliament. It has around 290 seats. All lawmakers are directly elected by the people, but the parliament is not absolute. Its laws are checked by another body, that is the Council of Guardians. Now, this council has 12 members. 6 of them are appointed by the supreme leader. The rest are suggested by the judiciary. You can guess where these suggestions really come from, but the council's job is very important. Say the parliament passes a law, this council will see whether it conforms with the Sharia. If not, it can crack down. So effectively, the council has a veto over parliament. It also decides who can stand for elections. Just consider the 1997 presidential election.
So it sounds like you had a system of checks and balances, but the systems of checks and balances were all stuffed with people that were loyal to the one guy. And then you wait from there. There's no checks and balances if the checks and balances are for that one guy. Surprise, surprise. Wow. And then, wow. Consolidating power. I guess it's just that easy.
230 candidates wanted to contest. Only 4 made it to the ballot. Another powerful body is the Assembly of Experts. We mentioned this at the start. It's the same one that drafted Iran's constitution, but now its job is different. This assembly has 86 Iranian clerics. They're elected to 8-year terms by the public. And who decides the candidates? Again, the Council of Guardians. The assembly's main job is to elect the next supreme leader. And I know the structure may sound complicated, but one thing is quite clear. All these bodies draw power from the same place.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The supreme leader of Iran. Of course, sometimes there are squabbles. Like in 1988, the parliament was on one side, the Guardian Council on the other. Neither side was backing down, so Supreme Leader Khamenei formed another body.
Oh, God.
The Expediency Council. It has more than 30 members, and most of them are hardliners. Do you see the strategy here? Iran has created multiple bodies and councils to distribute power, to check and balance each other. But in reality, it's an illusion to shield the real power in the country, which is the supreme leader. Again, let's look at the 1997 election. It was a watershed moment in Iran because the reformists beat the hardliners. Mohammad Khatami became president. He was re-elected by a landslide in 2001. So in the next election, the Guardian Council stepped in.
Probably. A little bit. It's weird because I changed it, so I don't know why it's still like that. It was supposed to be leer. We're going to leer about Iran just for a bit here.
2004, they disqualified thousands of reformist candidates. So the hardliners won the parliament. We saw that again in the last election. Hassan Rouhani had been president from 2013 to 2021. He was widely regarded as a moderate. So in the 2021 election, the Guardian stepped in again. They disqualified 585 candidates. Only 7 were left on the ballot. All 7 were hardliners. So the trend is pretty clear. Every few years, Iran has a moderate wave, but it's snuffed out by the clerics and guardians. Supreme leader 1, democracy 0. The question is, what does the future hold? Can any group challenge the regime in Iran? The obvious candidate would have been the army, but it's a shadow of its former self. From 1980 to 1988, the army fought a war with Iraq. They lost around 250,000 men. And since then, the army has been stationed at the border, far away from the power center. Plus, it's been purged of dissidents. Thousands of officers were fired or detained in the 1980s. Their loyalties were questioned. So the army is weak. What about a clerical power struggle? Ayatollah Khamenei is almost 84 years old. Surely succession is on everyone's mind. And the last one was quite dramatic. Khamenei's chosen heir apparent was Hussein Ali Montazeri, an Ayatollah and disciple of Khomeini. But in 1988, he criticized the regime. He opposed the detentions and executions. So Montazeri was stripped of his role. The next year, in 1989, Khomeini died. So the Assembly of Experts selected a junior cleric, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. As for who will succeed him, it's not clear. Khamenei has not named a successor, but current President Ibrahim Raisi is set to be a frontrunner. The revolution.
I was about to say he better not.
5 years old.
He better not do what that last dude did. He better not do what that last dude did. I swear to God, if he does what that last dude did, he probably won't just be stripped. Well, actually, he might be. He might be stripped of life. Yeah, I know. I just need to get this fucking. I don't know why it doesn't show that it changes, but it said it changes, but whatever, who cares? Also, it's weird. I don't know. I've noticed it the entire time. Whatever lighting she has on her, it's really weird because it stands out from like everything behind her.
Is young in relative terms. It has done a lot to strengthen its position, from domestic crackdowns to creating an alliance of proxies in the region. But what it hasn't done is welfare. Iran's economy has struggled to break free under the regime, mostly because of sanctions. There is also discontent about conservative laws, like the ones around hijab.
Whoa, hold on. She has her hair out in Iran? Yo, death. She's gonna die. Someone, human rights activists, get on it.
So the key to sustaining the revolution could be modernizing it. But the flip side is this. A modernized revolution is a slippery slope. We saw that with the Soviet Union. When they modernized their revolution, the regime collapsed. I guess striking a balance will be key.
And see, this is what was happening like a year ago. This video came out a year ago, right? Right, something like that. Yeah, this video came out a year ago. So all the stuff that's happening now, they don't know about that yet. So who's going to figure out what's going on with them after that Shah? Good Lord, after the Shah dude dies? Well, we don't know, because he might be expedited to the grave very, very soon. And I'm not saying Marco Rubio should do it, but I mean he's already El Presidente of fucking Venezuela, so fuck it, why not? I wouldn't be surprised. But with all that being said, see if I can find the last two things. More modern stuff. Yeah. Welcome back to us. I just watched that, by the way. That was great. The Legendary series. Like this, for instance, I thought was interesting. New footage of Iran shows Iranians destroying security cameras to blind the Islamic Republic. Now, let's talk about chat. Let's chat for a second. Let me ask you something. What exactly needs to be going on for something like this to happen? Because I keep hearing a lot of people say, there is no war in Iran. There is no revolution. There is no war in Bossing, say. Oi. But something's telling me if this is what you're doing, there might be a little bit more. But hold on. There's more. Now, people in other countries, my guy, Where is it?
Worried about my friends. I heard that they're like raping the woman. I don't have any information from them. I'm really worried about my friends.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, by the way. I wouldn't say that you heard. It's because they are. That's the thing. It wouldn't be the first time. And there was more that I wanted to find, but a lot of the posts got deleted by the time I got off of work. But if I could find them, I'm definitely going to do another one later on just to see what was going on. You know what I mean? Also, Unkava, thanks for the follow. I don't know why I didn't show up. It just showed over here, but whatever.
Friends, I really love them, and I don't know what should I do about it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there anything else that you want Canadians to know?
We love Canada, like, honestly, and I really appreciate the Canadian to respect Persian and Persian respect Canada.
Boom! Look, she didn't even say Iranians. She didn't say Iranians. She said Persians. On God, make Persia again. You know what I'm saying? It's weird that a lot of people aren't talking about it, and obviously I don't have a reach at all. But I feel like, you know, hey, might as well. I feel like this is something that you definitely should talk about.
I appreciate your love, everything you do. I hope you're gonna be free one day.
Oh, God.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Crazy how that happens. Crazy how that happens. Now, what one would say, nothing's happening. I don't know why this is being done, but, you know, yada, yada, yada. But then I keep seeing stuff like this. Now, I'm going to take everything with a grain of salt, especially if I see it on Twitter. Everything with a grain of salt, right? But to have this come out a lot, you know what I mean? Seems like something must be going on. I also find it interesting that people are like, oh, yeah, they don't have internet, so we don't actually know what's going on, so it doesn't matter, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because why? Why is the internet cut off? You know what I mean? There's just things that you should probably think about. You know what I mean? Think about. But, you know, there's just that, and there is something else that just got reported that I keep seeing, but I cannot show that on here at all, because it's really, really, really graphic. So we're just not going to do that. But there is something else though. Why does it keep doing that? Why does it go? It keeps going to the wrong goddamn thing. Would you look at that? Iran is not majority Muslim. Surprise, surprise. Burning down mosques and shrines as a direct and organic anti-Islam retaliation. The counterattack by the people who have never believed in Islam, let alone accepted Islamic barbaric rule. That's crazy. This is crazy when you really think about it. Because you got to remember where they are and the penalty that happens when you do stuff like this. Now, if you were in any Islamic country, caliphate, whatever it may be, right, and you were to do something like this, death, instant death. It's just how it is. It's instant death. So to see these people doing that, actually insane. Now, look, I'm not one for violence or anything like that, and I really don't want anything terrible to happen to anyone. I don't want bloodshed anywhere. But I mean, hey, if this is what you got to do, this is, I guess, what you got to do. So hopefully, all in all, everything goes as well as it possibly can, and then we go from there. But I didn't want to harp on this for too long until I can get some more information, and we'll go from there.